Hey y'all, and welcome back to Keeping Up with Christy. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. This week we had a really special meal that I decided to make, which was pork and chicken with cranberry apple chutney, Brussels sprouts with bacon and butter, and Instant Pot garlic mashed potatoes, and it was so good. It was kind of a fancy meal, and yet it only took me about 30 minutes to complete the whole thing from start to finish, so that's always nice. So I'm starting with here the apple cranberry chutney. That just makes you think of fall, and I thought that would be great, and it's actually inspired by a meal I had at a local restaurant near to us, and it was brand new, and we got a reservation with some friends of ours and went, and I ate pork medallions with cranberry apple chutney, and it was so good. So I decided to try to recreate that at home, and that's what I did. I think I did a really good job. So this cranberry apple chutney recipe will be linked down below, but basically it's apples, an onion, and fresh or frozen. I used the fresh cranberries, and apple cider vinegar, brown sugar. It calls for orange zest. I didn't have any, and it called for grated ginger. I had ground, and then some cinnamon. And it didn't call for that last thing I just put in there, which was a little bit of apple juice, but I thought it looked like it might could use a little more liquid, so I put that in there. I'll show you how it comes out. It's beautiful. Tastes really good too. This is my Instant Pot mashed potatoes, and the only thing I did differently on these was my normal recipe. I put cream cheese in. I didn't have any, and I don't normally put garlic in there, so I am putting garlic in with the potatoes. Cover them just so they're just covered with water. Put it on manual for 3 minutes. And you will have that going, and then you'll come back to it later in your cooking time. So next I'm moving on to the meat. I had pork, what they call ribeyes, boneless ribeyes, and then I had a couple of pieces of chicken that I've just cut up and kind of butterflied. Sometimes we have folks in our family who don't really care for the pork. They'd rather have chicken, and others who like the pork better. So this night I just decided to do a little bit of both. And that pork ribeye package was only, it was less than 2 pounds at Walmart. So it wasn't a whole lot. It wouldn't have fed 6 adults anyway. So I needed to add a little bit more. I've got my pan going with about a tablespoon of olive oil and a tablespoon of butter. I'm working on medium high heat, closer probably to medium than to high. Just to give you an idea, you just kind of have to know how your stovetop's going to work. Basically, you want to be able to cook this on the chicken 4 minutes on each side without the outside getting too brown or too done, but it getting cooked all the way through. Neal ate the leftover chicken. We had 1 piece left, and he had that for lunch the next day, and he said that it was not dry even the next day after having heated it up in a microwave. It's the best compliment he could give me, and he doesn't even know it's a compliment, but it is, because you like it when somebody says that whatever poultry or meat that you've cooked isn't dry and it tastes really good. Thank you, hun. I appreciate that. So I season all the chicken and pork up the same way: salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and Italian seasoning. Again, it was inspired by the meal I had at that nice restaurant local, and so I decided to kind of get the same kind of taste going, and it definitely tasted like they had some Italian seasonings on it, so that's what I went with as well. And then back over at the Instant Pot, once your 3 minutes is up, it's got to come up to pressure, and then it cooks for the 3. As soon as it beeps at you that the 3 minutes is done, you go ahead and let all the steam out, and then I drain them in a colander, and then you put them back in the pot, and your pot will keep warm. I love that about an Instant Pot. It'll stay on the setting that says keep warm, and that's all we're going to let it do, is just do that. Keep these potatoes warm. I add my stick of butter, salt and pepper, a little splash of milk. I don't usually measure that, so what I do is, once I'm mixing it up, if I need more, and I will need more milk on this night, then I go ahead and put it in there. You just want to get to the creamy consistency you like. Now, we keep our potato skins on, and if you can't stand that, if you don't like your potato skins on, then by all means, peel away and get those off. But for us, we just wash them really good, scrub them up, and get them in there. We don't mind the potato skins to still be in our mashed potatoes. I know that's a personal preference thing, so you do you. All right, so back on over to the chicken. They were done, and I pulled those on out of the pan, and then we're going to get started on the pork chops next. So I just added some extra olive oil into the pan to make sure I had plenty of fat to cook the meat in. And again, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and Italian seasoning. And you notice I don't measure, I just shake and give it all a good cover and coating. And then the pork chops, unlike the chicken was 4 minutes each side, the pork chops are 3 minutes each side. Okay, so on to our next side, which was bacon and Brussels sprouts. So what I do is I grab a pan and I put a couple of tablespoons of butter. This is on like medium heat. And then I have the bacon bits. The bacon bits are not those dehydrated kind. You want to make sure that you see real bacon pieces or real bacon bits on the packaging. And so I put that in there, and that just getting in that butter and heating up, it gives that butter this yummy bacon flavor. Meanwhile, in the microwave, I have my bags of steam fresh Brussels sprouts going. You know, you can get those that are just going to be steam in a bag, and you could cook them straight in the microwave and take them out and serve them. But why not coat them in some bacon and butter first? Because that makes everything better. So that's what we did. And we've got some good Brussels sprout lovers around here who like to eat these. My mom hates them. I mean, I know she'll eat like 3 of them. She'll do her part and she'll eat 3 Brussels sprouts, but then she's like, you know, they're not my favorite. But I'm like, they got to be better with bacon and butter, Mom. So at the end, I just top them with a little bit of salt and pepper, and they are all set. So that's the very last thing that I'm doing before we plate it up. And it is such a pretty plate. That apple cranberry chutney on top of the pork or chicken, it was just so good. Everybody loved it, and you know, that's just a great combination. My husband, Neal, he loves pork chops and applesauce, and this is just another version of it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, give me a like, and leave a comment down below if you want to try this recipe. And I will have the recipes linked in the description box, so go check it out. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks for coming by.